No kids allowed.
Hello and welcome to another episode of No Kids Allowed. And as always, my co-host is Anna. And Anna, could you tell them what are the rules of No Kids Allowed?
No kids allowed, hence the closed door. Because
Always.
it's actually currently a lot earlier than we usually film. It's like 9 a.m. Actually, it's just before 9 a.m. And there are children and dogs running rampant around our house.
Yeah, so we're going to keep the doors closed and we keep the kids out. But the reason we are actually filming this early in the morning, guys, is that we are about to go on a video call with somebody from Australia. And
Exciting.
this is half exciting, half nervous, half kind of confusing. I'm not really sure what we're expecting from this. This has been something that we have probably been curious about for 7 or 8 years, right? Of like, what would it be like to have a conversation with somebody who has been trolling you for 6 or 7 years? You know, somebody who has been part of a forum and part of the abuse and part of the disruption in our career and our life and our family and everything. And we are about to have a conversation with that person. The camera is all set up. We're ready to go.
I'm excited.
I'm excited.
So she's just to note, she's a reformed troll. She's no longer trolling.
She's no longer trolling us. I cannot say that she is no longer trolling anybody else.
Okay.
I can also not say that she is no longer trolling us because...
I'm pretty sure she's not.
Or this could be a big ruse. I don't know. Nobody has any idea which way this is going to go.
But I always want to believe the best in everybody. So I feel like we're going to be best friends.
I want to believe the best in everyone and I want the best for everyone. But at the same time, I don't know where this conversation is going to go.
I feel like I know her. I don't know why. I feel like I know her.
Yeah.
Like not personally, but I feel like, I don't know. I don't know why.
I don't know what I'm expecting to expect.
Yeah.
Or what I'm expecting her to sound
it's
like.
It's going to be really interesting. I just feel like we have different...
I know what we're like, though. We're the kind of people, okay, that are going to just, not forget all the pain, hurt, anguish, disruption.
Oh, I have forgotten already.
And just be like...
That's the problem, is that I forget really easily. I kind of can't remember things that happened because I've just blocked them out. I know they were bad, but yeah, it's so weird. I know what's happening right now, but she's not trolling right now. So it's not,
Well, as far as we know,
blame her.
as far as we know, she's not trolling right now.
But anyway, I'm excited to meet her. So we're going to call her now, aren't we?
Yeah, we have a Zoom call set up. Who knows, guys? You're living in the future. You know how this plays out.
I just feel like she should. I think she's brave to come on. Come on, she is brave.
Yes,
this is a brave thing to do. Not everybody would do this. A lot of trolls just hide.
Is an element of trolling. I'd like to introduce you to Lily, who's over here from Australia, who's currently on a call.
Hi, Lily. Thank you so much for doing this.
Hi, guys.
To people who are watching this, okay, and they'd love to understand why somebody would get into trolling, you know what I mean? Or how do you get into trolling, or what led you? So did you start off as watching our YouTube videos and enjoying them and then sort of just be led?
So I started watching you guys, I believe my daughter Isla was a year old when you guys had Amelia. Actually found, I think it was Anna's pregnancy hospital bag thing, and I was oh cool, because I had home births for my kids, and I was oh
wow,
sweet, I love that sort of stuff. I love things that aren't what I do, and so I was cool, I love hospital bags. Got into watching you, then slowly got into the family vlogs. I was unhappy in my life, but I can't remember if there was a specific video or drama. I think one day, I don't remember, I don't want to say who it was, but I think another YouTuber had a drama, and I found
No, please do.
Websites
please feel free to say who it was.
I think someone had an issue with something in a hole. vlog, but it was not the big drama. It was
All right.
one much earlier. I know that I just don't want to, like, I guess I am going to come across as like a past super hater, but I'm just so self-conscious as well of like all these past people. I know there's going to be drama out there. I'm not going to go looking for it because it's been like literally so long since I've gone on those websites.
Yeah.
But I'm very conscious of the fact that I've never really hidden my username, which I do not want to say,
Yeah.
just for the fact that that username is connected to literally everything on the internet of
Right.
me. And that's fine. I did that consciously. I never really wanted to be super anonymous because I think that's a total cop-out. But I also don't want like all of your crazy haters that I know exist to like get on my Instagram
Yeah.
and stuff because I'm not strong like you guys. I cannot take the hate.
Well, you're brave
I'll
to
be,
do
like,
this,
devastated.
though. I mean, I think it's really
Look, I think-
admirable.
Look, I think it's the least I can do after like all the times you've probably been like, oh, that, expletive.
This is a one-time situation that, we've been doing this for 10, 11 years. You've
Yeah.
been around during that
Yeah.
period and, and you've reformed yourself and you seem like a nice, charismatic person, which is very, if I met you in real life, I would not think that you behind the
Never.
scenes are trolling.
Never.
That bitch.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So many people won't put their faces to what they do because
Yes.
if you put a camera in their house 24/7, people aren't going to like it. There's
Yeah.
going to be I don't mean to sound horrible, but none of us were supermodels, and the hate that Anna especially got, in terms of body and just all the little things. Like I have so much to say about it. And I'm sorry, I have ADHD as well. And I know you do, Jonathan. So I'm trying to like keep myself focused and also with the lag, I don't want to talk over you guys. But it's just like if people had cameras in their houses, even if they were choosing what content they were putting out, if I was editing everything in my daily life, I had complete content control, people would still not agree with my lifestyle. People would still have a go at everything I do. So what right do I have to have a go at someone who does that and is brave enough to do that? I think the main issue that people have is they have an issue with the idea of vlogging and they just can't get past that. They just can't get past like, you choose to put your life out there, how dare you? But then they follow like a million celebrities as well. It's the same thing. And people forget that you're not a story that people are watching. You're not just characters. Like I remember getting on the websites, Guru Gossip, back in the day representing. I remember just like, it was like logging into a new fucking chapter of this obscene story of like, how are they abusing the children? That's where I really turned off. I was like, my God, as a mother of two children, like, and if I had to again film my children belt each other, like they're two sisters, 17 months apart, like.
Yeah.
And I only have a brother. I have a younger brother, so I always wanted a sister, never had a sister. They're chalk and cheese. One is blonde hair, blue eyes, fair skin. The other's, her dad's Greek, so she's, dark, beautiful skin, like hairy as she came out like a hobbit. But, it's this thing where I wouldn't, even if I was controlling what I was putting out, my kids aren't always that well behaved. My life isn't all that put together. I'm sitting in my children's bedroom right now looking around at all the mess because we're moving. Like, and you guys have moved how many times online in front of everyone? That was sort of my wake-up call, when people started being like, these children are so abused. And I'm like, no, they're not. I'm surprised they don't have more bruises because I know my kids climb so many things. Like my daughters sometimes have scrapes across them and it's just like horrific. So for me, that was as horrible as it sounds. I was in the beginning in on the whole, like, and I did to prepare myself for this. I Googled some of my old forums in Guru Gossip.
Oh, really?
And died. To be fair, I know I took my profile picture down many years ago because it was just a picture of you and it was fucking mean. Like it was just a normal picture of you as well. And it's like, wow, Lily, like, so that was really horrible. But just reading those posts just made me die. I'm going to say 22, 23. I'm 30 now. My God, I'm so embarrassed, but I won't go back and delete them because they're there. I said them. And I think it's important to have some form of accountability when you say these things. I know that I think, Anna, you've said before, like people say so much behind a screen, like a screen name and anonymous, and it's so true. I've never met someone in real life who's been such a bitch online. They've never been like that in real life ever.
Yeah, that's true. And it's funny because I remember you. Like, I remember you because of your picture. But the thing about you, though, is
Just snorted.
the thing about you this is why I remember you and why you stood out to me, because you didn't look like a troll. Like, not that a troll has an image, because you don't really know what a troll looks like, because a lot of them, like you said, do hide behind just a screen name. But you had your picture up, and I remember just seeing it and being like, this girl is so pretty. Like, you were, I honestly, this is like genuine hand on heart. This is what I felt like. I was like, this girl is so stunning. She could have her own YouTube channel, do her own thing. I was like, why on earth would she want to, waste her time doing this? Like, I just thought you were too pretty to be a troll. Honestly, that was like what I felt.
Yeah.
I remember looking at you and being like, I could be her friend. Like, she looks like cool, And I remember your glasses. I remember thinking, like, this girl has nice style. Like, and I think you had said, because back then I would read stuff. Now I don't anymore, but back then I would. And I was like, she has 2 kids, like the same-ish ages as mine. I was like, I don't get it. Like, we could be friends in real life,
Yeah, like, what is this bitch's problem? Yeah, that's one of the reasons I started following you, because I was like, this chick's like around my age. She has cool style. Like, not many. I had my first child at 21. I got married. I was 37 weeks pregnant, got married, turned 21 a few days after, and then had my baby.
Wow.
So I got married really young, did all of that. And I didn't see all the young mums that I followed, like, weren't really my cup of tea. And then it was like, oh, this girl who's into, because I love makeup as well. I love hair stuff, and I was like, oh, a girly girl that's like got kids like me. It was just one of those, and I guess it's that mean girl mentality that we just grow up from and should never have in the beginning. Like, I was never a popular kid at school or anything like that. So maybe I think in that echo chamber, when people are having a go at someone and constantly like picking on them, it's this echo chamber of, insults, and it becomes okay to say the most horrible things on the daily basis. And I remember logging in after I hadn't for so long and just reading like, with the podcast coming up, I'll get a feel. I got through like a page of whatever the bullshit website is now. And it was just like the stupidest, smallest, dumbest things. Like, I try to keep up with your guys' content, but again, it's like life's busy.
Yeah, 100%.
And so from what I see, it's just, you're just living a nice, regular, like, I don't know if you guys are about to go back into lockdown, but, you seem to like have a safety bubble anyway.
Yeah.
Like, you just seem to live a regular, nice family life. And I couldn't find, like, I was trying to correlate the things I've seen and the things people are saying, and I was just confused.
Because you're reformed, because you're not in that mindset anymore. I think it's difficult when it's easy when you're in the mindset to find fault and to find like the negatives. But I think when you're not in that mindset, you can't even correlate the two. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, it doesn't make sense to me, not just about us, but like for other people. Like, when I see stuff about other people and I'm like, really? Like, I just thought that was normal, because I'm just not in that mindset.
Oh, no.
So let's go back
Yep.
to what we began talking about
that's like-
before we lost
Sorry.
train of thought
Yeah.
and ran away with ourselves. Okay. And let's try to talk about what you were saying about what was the thing. If you can't pinpoint it, how you got drawn into the forums, what you first, like your first post there about us, and then your reaction to getting an interaction
my
back,
God.
and then how it escalated. And if you have anything specific that you did that we can relate
Do
to.
remember, read a comment on a vlog when Amelia was very young, and I think I still have the screenshot, because someone just said, "Oh, baby shits too much," and I just laughed so much. I was like, what baby shits too much? Like, she seems healthy. She's breastfed. Like, I know what breastfed poop's like. And I just remember laughing. And then underneath, someone else said something about guru gossip, which was the sub back then. And so I punched it in. And at first, it was very much me reading and disagreeing. And I'm sure if I go back, there were ones. I remember people used to bully me by like, not my name, Lily's in love, Jonathan, like shit. Because I used to be like, you know, they're both very good looking people. That's why they're on the internet. Like, I think you're both very attractive.
Oh, thank you.
And it was like, oh my God, she's like, you can't say anything positive there. And then so that's when I was sort of like, okay, start looking for the bad things. And so that's when, I guess, because of that echo chamber, and that's the thing, people should never get into the habit of going looking for negative things about people. If you don't like watching, so it's, you guys said it for years, but if you don't like watching something, don't watch it. Like, I don't understand hate watching anymore. And it used to be, I mean, I feel like the people who hate you guys consume the more of your content. Like, they know the most about you. They know everything, you know. They'll like back from something you did 10 years ago, which like fans have probably forgotten because they care about what you're doing now. And like, you know what I mean? It's just, it was crazy to me how detailed all of these people thought, you know, and did sort of know about you.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah. But do you think like it must have been, like, was it a place of comfort for you, or like friendship for you? Like, did you feel like you had good friendships there? Or was somewhere you could go to vent about, you know, whatever was going on? Like, it must have had a positive impact in your life.
It definitely felt, for me, I guess I had like 2 young babies, isolated, marriage. Well, I was married for 8 years, you know, so marriage goes up and down over the years, but ultimately I'm now divorced and re-engaged, which is nice, to a Sicilian boy, actually.
That's really nice.
So that's good. Yeah. But no, I guess I was unhappy young at that time, and I felt, accepted. People were like, you have that opinion. I have that opinion too. You know, say something else mean. And it was this whole, like I said, you sort of just get lost in it and people accept you, and it's very easy to forget your humility. You sort of, like I said, it becomes okay to say things that are just so not okay. Like, if I said any of those things out loud, sometimes I'd be, you know, like breastfeeding my baby while being on that website or whatever. And that's just like, I know, you know, Anna, like sometimes, and I breastfed my youngest until she was 3. Sometimes you just need to do something while you're breastfeeding. But like, it's a lot. But like, why waste? I just got to the point where it's like, why am I wasting my time? So I guess, I'm losing track again. I can see Jonathan being like, get back on point. We've got an hour slot.
Yeah, I feel like I'm interviewing myself. But yeah, no,
yes,
if
for
we
me,
could
I
just...
think it was definitely a feeling of belonging and this weird acceptance, because I had all my mum friends online, but I didn't even have a car at that stage. We weren't driving. We didn't even have our licenses until well after I had my second baby, just because we didn't need to. We lived in the city and stuff like that. So it was like my little escape and a little secret shame. Like, I wouldn't have wanted anyone to know. And I have like friends in real life that follow you guys as well. So, and I haven't told anyone.
Really? That's crazy. Wow.
Like, oh my God.
Wow.
Yeah. And I have a lot of people that follow you on Instagram as well. So
wow.
But if we could, let's say...
You're popular in Australia, you guys.
Yeah, I know. For years you said we should go
really
out there.
Nice.
I know what people who are watching this and listening to this would love to know, okay? Give us a scenario where we can relate to that, you know, a time when you went and you did something. Have you ever interacted in the real world, caused us trouble, reported us, done something that bring us on a story of what is like, and how like there's a sense of like one person says something and it snowballs and snowballs, and then there's hundreds of people reporting you and contacting the schools and contact police and social service, and it just escalates and escalates and escalates. And have you seen that? Can you talk us through a scenario where that actually happened and give us like a first person view of that?
Yeah. I can definitely, I firstly want to say unanimously, I've never called a school or child services. I think that's disgusting. I've had through my, I'll tell this to you guys, but please don't put this in so I can unanimously say I've never done that. Things I did do real world. This is such an expose, but I told myself I'd be completely honest because you guys know anyway. So I would look like a piece of shit if I was just going to like lie and be like, I didn't do anything. Like, I'm just a good person. I was involved in I thought you were running an AdSense scam once, John. And
No
it was
way.
because you had a website. I didn't know much about IT then. I was so stupid. You had a website lapse and someone else bought it and they
Yeah,
put
I
some
know what you're
crap
talking about,
Indonesian
yeah.
shit on it. Do you remember that?
Do you know how much damage
Oh my
that
God.
caused your reactions? So you ended up getting the AdSense account suspended, which ended up crashing one of our channels, which probably cost us about 4 or
Wait.
5 years of revenue because of the damage that caused. Because you went on and by reporting,
This was
yeah, so it was my old blog that I used to report on, which was La Floof.
Yeah.
And then that defaulted, somebody took that, but then you all reported that account to Google as that I was running some ad scam. And they were like, okay, so we'll just shut down the AdSense account and report the AdSense accounts as fraud. And then that ended up causing years of problems because that was our only income. One of our only income sources was completely destroyed because somebody thought it was a funny idea to report us.
Oh man, I remember
You know,
that
and
now.
I didn't know that. I'm so sorry.
Oh no, it's
Like I own up to that. That's
it's not
horrible.
It's
And-
not just you though. Are you crying?
Yeah, no, I feel very bad.
Oh,
That's
no.
horrible. I'm okay though. I just cry a
Don't
lot.
cry. No,
Okay.
it's not just
No, I
because
think
of
it's okay.
sorry, it's not just because of one person though. I feel like it's important to know that it's an accumulation of like, you know, lots of different people.
I do believe I was the leader of that one.
Oh.
To be fair, and I think John knows that too.
Well, what I'm not trying to
did-
upset you. I'm
No,
trying
no,
to
no.
just give you the other side of the window because that's not something we ever shared. So a lot of the times when
No.
when people on forums cause damage in our life, it's not something we'd ever because we always had the idea that we will put out positive content regardless of what was going on. You know, so we were having, you know, such hard times and we were crying and we were upset and we were broken, but we put on a show. And I think, did you feel that when you did that, you know, you had no idea of the damage you caused and the next day a normal vlog just went up and it was just normal. And did you feel like, right, I can't touch them, or did you feel more inspired to try even harder the damage?
I felt throwing back. Sorry, I'm just absorbing that as well. I am very sorry because I know you have had issues with sponsorships and stuff in the more recent past, but I wasn't aware that I deserve to feel bad.
I
You know,
feel
I'm not going
really
to
bad
hide
for
that.
her
I cry a
crying.
lot, so it's okay. No, I'm a crier,
feel
but I'm
terrible.
not a crier for sympathy. It's embarrassing to me.
No.
Because it is important that people face repercussions, and you guys aren't TV characters. You faced real world repercussions, and I'm a human being, luckily, and so that makes me feel bad.
No.
And so that's okay. I'm sorry. I'm such a crier.
No, don't be
I'm
sorry.
actually such a tough bitch normally. Like I haven't put makeup on in so long. We've been in lockdown for this. We've just come out of lockdown today. Actually, in Victoria, we have 0 cases of coronavirus, and so that's really exciting.
But I hope that you know, this opportunity here for us to talk is for a way for you to, you know, get this out. You must have known throughout that whole time that it wasn't like we were all going to just high five and be best friends. You know, that everything that you did, every letter, everything that you typed in that form was going to hurt us, regardless if we read it or not. And it was going to have impact. And every time you write something negative or you have a negative thought, you surround yourself with negative experience, and then you create a negative environment for you. So if every morning you're waking up and looking for the negative, you're going to sort of surround yourself with that negative. And that's what I'm hoping both of us get an opportunity here, you know, to just show both sides, you know, and then people watching who are currently trolling or currently victims of trolling can kind of see that behind every troll comment is a hurt person, and behind every troll comment is a person who's hurt writing that comment.
Yeah.
You know, and it's trying to just show that like we're all just human beings looking for a connection.
Did you ever think that, or like, because I don't know what the mindset of like, say, I don't know what the recent website is, but I just know Guru Gossip, right? So we'll just say Guru Gossip. Did you like, or you guys like in general, did you want for, or think that I was, or that we were going to read it, or was that like the goal? Like, did you want for us to read it?
I think a lot of people were very excited by the fact that they, you know, assumed that you were reading.
Right.
And often people would write things directly to you. It's what Jonathan was saying. It's the whole mindset. If you're waking up in the morning and the first thing you want to do is watch someone's content because you're mad at them, pick out everything bad about it, and then go to a website where other people are bitching about it, there is something wrong with your life. And we had these discussions on Guru Gossip. Every now and then someone would be like, sometimes it would be me, sometimes it would be other people, would be like, yo, guys, this is a bit extreme, especially sometimes with school things. At least that was the public voice. Like I said, I never knew anything. I did start that Facebook group and got a few photos and profiles and such, but there was never, I can swear, I'm an old Catholic, I can swear that, that was never something that I did. I've lost my train of thought.
So do you think... Sorry.
No, you go.
Okay, no, I was going to say, do you think that was the turning point for you? Because you did say that before, that when it started getting more like child heavy, like the criticisms and stuff, do you think that was the turning point, like when you left, or like when you decided I'm not going to, like when did you decide this is not for me anymore? Like this is it, I'm out.
I think I looked back because there was also another incident about a threat that you guys were sent, and people were convinced that it was Jonathan's handwriting, which I think about, like before we even started talking about this, I think about that so often, and what just absolute insane bullshit that was, like how focused we all were on this conspiracy theory where there's cut and paste, like, pictures, like comparing. It's like that, it's like Charlie Day, like, losing his mind with all the conspiracy theories. It's just, and for me, I think I sort of probably stopped the trolling around when I separated from my husband, just because I had a lot of other things to do other than be a total cunt online, frankly. But then I remember sort of going, I also went, don't cry, you're a bad bitch, you've had home births, you can do this. Okay. I also ended up becoming homeless that year and went into the psych ward because I was very upset, as you are. And the children were with their father, so they were okay. But that was extremely hard.
Wow.
And I did a lot of reflecting during that time about my life choices, what led me to be here.
Wow.
And the trolling online was something that I thought about and talked about a lot in therapy, because it represented such an unhappy, dark side of myself where honestly, and like, I know it's what you said, John, we're never going to be best friends. But I think the reason I started watching you guys was because I was like, these are cool people that I could see myself hanging with. And it's such a dark, weird, twisted thing that can evolve for some people into this like jealous trolling, because a lot of people will say it's not jealousy. A lot of people on the website would say it's not jealousy. We're not jealous of them. I'd hate to live their lives. But it's like, why is that all you talk about then? So I think it does come from a sense of, jealousy and resentment, like, why not me? And the answer to that, I understood, is because I didn't start a YouTube channel and I didn't take the risk and I didn't put the work in for, a decade. That's why not. When people say, oh, why do they get that? No one else does. Because you guys took the risk and it paid off really well. That's why. People are constantly like, why not me? It's because they're not doing it. And,
because anyone can do it. I genuinely don't think that we're anyway special. I think, we worked really hard, but I don't think we're special. I think we're lucky because we just got in at the right time. I think luck definitely has something to do with it. And obviously hard work too, because it was like the slog of like 10 years of just, and we didn't get paid in the beginning kind of thing. And
it's a consistent, that's the thing. It was the longevity. It's not just the hard work. It's the fact that when the days were good, a vlog went up. When the days were bad, a vlog went up. Every fucking day a vlog went up for like so many years. And you almost, it's not like you guys are owed any success, but when you do that so consistently and you put so much of your life into something, you deserve some success. And it's not fair for people who are jealous to try and take it away.
Anybody could do. I mean, you definitely could have done it. I think anybody could do it. It's not like it's not like we're special. Like we're not special, you know?
But you are very personable, and I think that, counts for something.
Thank
But
you.
also personable people, in my opinion, also attract a lot of hate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
100, yeah.
So, what would you think, right, would be the worst thing that you ever did to us? Like something, the
Okay.
worst thing, like you thought that, like, yeah, you know what, that time, okay, every time you probably went too far. But this particular, if you can tell us a story of something that you think, because I think it's so interesting that you talked about that, the AdSense situation. I'm like, oh my, that was you. Wow.
That's the worst. That would have to be now that I know the consequences. Yeah, and I do admit that was definitely.
But the good thing
me
about that
trying-
was that was before the children became targets.
True.
That was something that targeted me. So I appreciate that you kept your targeting and trolling to
So
myself
do
and
I.
Anna.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I think you probably got out at the right time. For sure.
I don't think that I definitely don't want this to be portrayed as like, look at this amazing person and what she's been through. Like, I really want this to be, yes, it's hard to own up to things, but more people need to do it. And even if it gets through to like one of those people on those websites, even if it's not about you guys, even if they follow, someone else and they're bitching about someone else online, and even if it makes them go, shit, maybe I shouldn't be spending my life doing this, then I think it would help. I don't want people to feel sorry for me just because I'm crying, because I don't necessarily deserve sympathy. I'm just telling my side of a two-sided story.
Yeah.
And if anything, you guys deserve that sympathy because of what you've been through
And
as
it's
a
not-
consequence of people like me.
And you're not just some Merryweather troll. You are one of the leaders during that period. Right? So
I was definitely super popular on that forum. For
And
sure.
did you get a sense of feeling like when we worked for YouTube, when we building our YouTube channel, as our subscribers were built and our views were built, there was a sense of leading a community, feeling popular, feeling like a huge connection to a large audience? And did you feel that when you were on those forums, as your profile or your number, your engagement grew and you became, a board leader, or you became something, was there a sense of like, I want to try and do something more to get a spike of engagement. I want to be the one to cancel them. I want to be the one to bring in this information. So I'm going to search their brothers and sisters and family and just try and find something better to bring. Like, there's a sense of like championing you.
I definitely, a lot of people used to follow a lot of Anna's family on Instagram. I actually still follow one of her sisters because I just love her vibe. But that was another thing. People would be like, oh my God, Margaret liked this but didn't like this. And it was just, I know. Like, oh my God, if people were following what my mum liked online, oh my God. It became this, it was absolutely validating to have people be like, yeah, I agree with your opinion. For me, I don't think I ever, I'd have to go back and read because I don't want to make a liar of myself, but it was also a very long time ago. I don't think I ever had the sense of wanting you guys cancelled. It was this weird, like, it was this sort of sense of, it's a show, it's like I'm watching, it really was like it's a new episode, and then logging into the website is like where you talk about the show after and, what characters you hate. And it's just obscene to me. Like when I had my period of a lot of, self-reflection, it just became so obscene to me that you would do that with real people. I was told a lot to sort of flip it back on me and look at, and especially the train wreck that my life has been for the last few years. If I was filming myself and I was putting all those things out there, people were going to absolutely have a problem with what I was doing. So
Yeah.
I'm rambling. I'm just going to have some water.
It's okay.
Do you ever think back and, look at, how your life has evolved over 10 years, compared to because of this negative kind of place that you put yourself in? And do you think that some of the consequences of your current life may be because of, like you said, that you had that, relationship breakdown during the height of your engagement with trolling, and now do you feel that you're more reformed and now you can have you found yourself in a new relationship in a better place in life? And do you think that those two things are connected, that when you're deep into trolling, you are just bringing that negativity to your life?
I definitely feel that negativity attracts negativity. So the more negative energy you put out, the more you receive. Getting hard enough. I don't think that any bad things that happened to me in my life happened because of the way I was, because again, that was sort of that period of time started when I was in my early 20s, and I was a good person before then as well. I just have had a lot of bad things happen, which isn't an excuse, because I do believe that people can choose to let those things define them or not define them. I think sometimes that might come with age. For me, having turned 30 this year, and my children are getting older, I definitely felt a sense of maturity, I guess, and like reflection on the things that have happened in my life and why they happened, or, you know, what I could have done differently. For me, I don't think I necessarily attracted those bad things happening to me, but it says a lot that I was in that bad space, and instead of trying to make myself feel better by engaging in things that I liked, or getting exercise, or, you know, playing with my children more, I was putting it into this negative thing. And I think that's a very hard cycle for people to break.
Yeah.
I think it's a necessary cycle. I think a lot of people don't want to sit with their bad feelings, and they don't want to sit with bad feelings about themselves.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, I feel like a bad person, but I don't want to think about that.
Yeah.
So they put it to the side of their mind. Whereas when you sit down and actually really reflect, it's confrontational, but I think it's an important thing for people to do.
Yeah. Because how when I asked you, because obviously I kind of get it. Like, I kind of get like what you said, if you look at it like it's a show and you can just like critique, you can go somewhere to talk about the show that you which characters you hate, or like just rip it apart. I kind of get it. Like, obviously I've never done it, and it's not anything that I've ever kind of like understood properly, but I do like, now that you say it like that, I do kind of get it, why you would get some enjoyment out of that, because it's the sense of community, and you know, they're kind of like your friends as well, and so I do get that. But then I wonder, you know, when you had that kind of turning point eventually, did you feel like this isn't happy, like this isn't a pleasurable experience anymore, like this is kind of just making me feel worse in a way, like is that kind of what happened, or that is that I don't know if I'm just imagining it.
No, absolutely. It definitely got to a point where it was like, and again, it was when a lot was going on in my life, and I sort of had a detox from a lot of online stuff for quite a while. And then when I came back to it, I firstly decided I'm not going on any of those websites again. And then I slowly started watching your guys' content again, and found that I enjoyed everything about it again. I wasn't seeing all the things that I used to pick out, like the things that I used to almost wait for. You know, people wait for, you know, Jonathan to say something controversial, or wait for like whatever problem people have. And like, it happens. Again, I have ADHD. It's rough. There's a reason I don't film myself or put myself out there. And it's because I don't think I'm the most likable person, so I don't do it. So kudos to you guys. Yeah.
What is there anything that you genuinely like? Because I guess every troll or everybody that has something negative to say, like, I feel like at some point it gets kind of, it just kind of gets like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, they kind of go on a journey of like negativity, and it almost gets like lost. Like their whole like starting message gets lost. But was there anything like in the beginning, like when you first started, that like really did annoy you about us, or like something that you would like to say to us, or something that you think that we did that was wrong, or I don't know, just like
I think you're crazy to have that many dogs, but that's just because I'm a cat person.
Okay, I'll take that.
But I never had an issue with that either, because like I grew up in the country. I've grown up around a lot of dogs. I've seen how dogs are all together. That's just a personal preference, but I think the dogs are fine and healthy. I'm just not like, I see you on Instagram in the mornings, Anna, like feeding them all, and I'm like, bitch, good on you. I just like throw some sausages outside. I don't know what the dogs eat.
It's so interesting that you would now say that is like the worst thing, right? That you say about us, okay? But then in the midst of during the campaign of trolling, what you probably believe because you read your own, you indoctrinated yourself. You read your own propaganda about us, and you believe that we were these evil people who were just evil. When people say now, they say, "Oh, you guys like everything we do," and they say, "Oh, they planned that," or everything is about a bigger. And I'm like, I have never planned anything. I'm like, I can't plan. I don't. I'm not a planner. You know, and every it's just coincidence. So much things that happen. And I would say that people who, not just us, but people who are getting trolled, I bet it's the same people who are just. It's just coincidence. You know?
Yeah. And that's what I mean. It's almost like people, when you're in that mindset, you're looking for a reason to be pissed off. You're just looking for any little thing. And then the Chinese whispers within the forums as well. Someone will verbatim quote something that someone said, and it will be a completely different thing to what you said, but context matters. And then someone will be like, "Oh my God, I can't believe they said such and such." And then it will just snowball into a kid got sent to timeout to they lock them in a dungeon or some shit. I don't know. But you know what I mean? It literally just snowballs, and then they're like, I've heard this.
Yeah. Do you remember, just on the topic of dogs, because I'm assuming it sounds like you were on the forum around when we lived in Ireland, right?
2012.
Yeah, like that kind of time.
And then I think the first house.
Yes.
I'm such a stalker. The first house. That's another thing. Never been interested in the address, but also I live all the way over the other side of the world.
Yeah.
Why would I fucking care?
Yeah.
Would you have come to a meet and greet if we had flown because we almost went to Australia, to Sydney, to do a meet and greet? Would you have come?
Absolutely. I'd recommend Melbourne. Sydney's a shithole, but I bought a Friendliest Friends t-shirt, and everyone in the forum shit on me. But yeah, I loved that shirt. I bought a huge one, and it was
it sounds like you loved the show, okay? You didn't want it to be cancelled, because if you cancelled us, your form of entertainment will go away, okay? But you just wanted to have another level of engagement with the show. That wasn't enough just to have the YouTube video. You know, we didn't have Snapchat and TikTok and stuff then. So it was more limited. It was more singular one viewing platform, and a bit of Twitter. And it just seems that maybe that's what you wanted more from us. You wanted more.
Which I do understand. I do understand that. And I think there's nothing wrong with, I don't mind. I genuinely don't mind if you said stuff about my appearance. It probably affected me then, but now I don't really care, just because it's different now. But I do get it, because I feel like everybody does it. They might not go on a forum and write it, but everybody watches. You watch a show, right? Like even a reality show, and you're like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe she wore that," or "I can't believe she did that." You just maybe don't put it on. Not everybody says it on an internet forum, but you do have those private conversations within, your friend group or with your partner or whatever. So I think it's that, but then it's that kind of magnified,
yeah. But are we desensitized? Are people just desensitized to media? Okay, even when you watch the news nowadays and you see atrocities happening, you look at it and think but this is just television. This is just media. So when you watch YouTube, you think, oh yeah, this is just like a reality show. The Kardashians, the same thing. So they're just gonna talk about it, because it's fun. It's a sport.
Yeah.
I do think it's really interesting what you said about sort of that level of engagement. I hadn't really thought about it, because I definitely didn't want actively you guys to be reading everything I was saying, although there were definitely times where I did as well. And so it was that, again, I find it really sort of sick, but it's almost like if people can't get enough from a creator, it's like, well, fuck you, I hate you.
Yes.
They're people dealing with all these fans, but I think a lot of people do have that turn. And for me, like I said, I started following Anna, and can I talk about some eating disorder stuff? Is that all right with you?
Yeah, I don't mind. Yeah.
I also suffered pretty much the same anorexia, bulimia, all of that after I had my second baby. Because I was like, I'm sick of being a fat mum. I'm going to be a skinny mum. So I dropped to 48 kilos, was like, oh yeah, breastfeeding's amazing, losing all the weight. I think what pissed me off the most was that I saw, and this is horrible, I saw that you were struggling and not admitting to it, because now I know, why the fuck should you? No one is entitled to that. But I saw the exact same struggles, and I was like, why don't I look as good as her? Why doesn't my husband love me as much? Why, isn't my life as good? And it was like, everyone can see I have an eating disorder. You know, my teeth are falling out and like, you know, things are going badly for me. But everyone says Anna looks beautiful. And again, this was in my 20s, my early 20s. And I do feel like I've grown from that and I like who I am now and all of that. But it was definitely a sense of like, well, everyone can see what's going on with me, but everyone loves her. So I think there is a sense of absolute jealousy. And it's not a healthy thing. It's not a nice thing to admit. But
Yeah.
I think most of these people on the trolling websites don't want to admit that.
Yeah. Well, I think
I'm so sorry.
I don't think you should apologize. I think it's really, again, just really brave of you to say, like, I had no idea. I mean, back then it was like, I was still I was struggling a lot, but I wasn't public with it at all. And I felt like, I remember when we moved to England and I got really skinny after having Eduardo, but I didn't feel like it. I felt like the opposite, because every time, actually what happened was I had stopped reading, 'cause back when we lived in Ireland, I would read things. I had stopped reading anything. And then I went and I had to find, I think it was like for my blog, because I would like link things on my blog and stuff like that I was wearing or whatever. And Googled, like image searched myself for like, you know, a piece of clothing or something like that. And all that came up, which I don't think this happens anymore, but all that came up was like guru gossip images. And it was
memes.
all pictures. Yeah, it was memes, and it was pictures of like, literally it would be, I remember one specifically, I don't know why, but it was like, I think we were coming out of a shopping center or something. And I mean, I was so skinny back then, but in my mind I wasn't. Do you know what I mean? Like I was 2 sizes smaller than what I am right now. So now I'm like, what the hell was wrong with me? But back, you know what it's like, right? So I remember seeing this picture and they'd blown up because there was like a bit of fat, like what's happening right now. Well, you can't see it, but there was like a bit of fat. You know, you have that like baby, it's your uterus, you know, like after you have a baby.
Your muscles have sort of separated a bit, you know.
Exactly. And I was so skinny, but I didn't see that. And in the picture, they had like zoomed in on that, you know, piece of fat.
Pooch.
Yeah. And like circled it.
I actually remember that.
Yeah. And so I remember seeing all these things and then just getting lost in it. And like, then there was pictures of like, you know, that cat woman who's had like so much surgery. She looks like a cat. There was like, that girl was like blown up saying that looked like me. And I was like, wait, what? So I just kind of convinced myself that I was so ugly and fat and disgusting. And it wasn't just, I'm not saying that it was your fault by any means. It wasn't. It was also like my fault because it was going on up here. But I think it kind of, it correlated with what was going on in my brain. And it was, you know, it's the unhealthiest thing possible that you could do if you're already struggling to like look. But honestly, at that time, I didn't even go looking for it. It just kind of happened and it was just there. But it was so... Obviously, it's so damaging if you read that stuff about you. I mean, I think anybody would be. Nowadays, I honestly don't care. But it's funny that you that you said that you thought that I was X, Y, and Z when actually I thought the opposite about myself. Like I did not see what you were seeing at all. Like by a long shot. I just was completely oblivious to that. I didn't think I was beautiful at all. I thought I was disgusting. I thought I was doing everything wrong. I remember getting comments saying that I was holding Amelia wrong, that I was breastfeeding her wrong, that I was, you know, when you have your first baby, you're insecure anyway, and you just don't know what you're doing. And maybe we were it's possibly my fault too for putting out an image of like, not perfection because I've never done that, but you know, an image of like everything's great. Like maybe that was my, you know, I shouldn't have done that, but that was just all I knew. And so I think people probably thought that everything was great when it wasn't, you know?
And that's what I could see. Like I could see through that, and I was like, I know what she's going through. Like I'd be like, I know when she's going to purge. Like, you know, if, you know, what I ate Wednesdays, I'd be like, well, that's staying, that's not. Like, because I had the exact fucking same mentality. Yeah. Even down to things like, this is like so, even people being like, you know, you've got fillers or whatever. Like I also have high cheekbones. I just related to you in a lot of ways stylistically in the beginning. I was like, this is how I do my makeup. Like this is what the look I look like as well. Yeah. I'm so sorry that it turned so fucked up. Hey.
It's not. I know.
But life is always about growing. Okay, so if you have your children are the same age as our children, you guys are almost the same age. You've had the same, disorder problems. You've had the same, and it seems that like you guys both grew up together over the last decade. You know what I mean? And you both have matured. What you're talking about now is I remember from the sidelines of how hurt you are and how upset you are and how hard on yourself you are, and you were probably in the same boat doing the same thing to yourself. But you're both here now 10 years later, you've got children the same age, you've been through it all, and you're both having this conversation. And could you have imagined 6-7 years ago, when we were living in Ireland and you were on those forums saying those things about us, could you imagine that you'd both grow up and you'd both evolve into nice people? And you seem like a lovely person, you don't seem like a bad person.
Not at all.
No.
I know.
Hey, look, nobody can come on and say they had a perfect life. My 20s were a mess. The only advantage is my 20s were offline. Okay, so I didn't put myself out there for my 20s, but my 30s I did. You know what I mean? And I reaped the benefits, and I also dealt with the consequences of sharing my life. But it's the same way. It's like we all age and grow. It is sometimes hard as a creator that there is people out there who want to hold you accountable for every stupid, and like you said, like I do have ADHD, so I have over to 10 years have said ridiculous things because in my brain, my entire audience were thinking it was hilarious. And then I didn't realize that everyone else wouldn't get what I say, And
it's the same with myself and my partner. Like he's full-blooded Italian, born in Australia, but he's got that sort of spiciness, whereas I'm just like a Scottish Australian sort of mix. And something in my head things sound so funny, and then I'll say something to my partner, and he'll just be like, "Bro, what the fuck?"
Yeah.
So yeah, I totally get that, and I cannot imagine having that out there for everyone to see. And again, I know you guys choose what is out there, but ultimately, you're not choosing from like an amazing movie, really.
Yeah,
you're choosing from footage of your everyday life.
You are choosing what we chose to share. 5 years ago, today I wouldn't share that.
It's so different.
So it is evolving. So what we shared during that time, that 2012 to 2014 stuff, we don't delete it like you say. I don't delete it because I am holding myself accountable for that content. That is of a time that is out there, and we put it out there, and our name is attached to it, and there's no way I can run away from it, and I am held to that. And, in 10 years' time, when the children grow up and get to watch the entire Siccone Jolys, we are held accountable for everything we said and did. We're not going to hide it. We're not going to realize now, hey, you know what? We probably shouldn't have done that during that time. Well, we've done it, and now we need to stand over it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which you have done as well. Like you're doing it too, because I feel like that's why I feel it's so brave to, first of all, show your face, and also just, it's scary. Like I can't imagine that most people that are on those kinds of forums would be brave enough. And I know you probably will get backlash, but I would honestly, I wouldn't take anything that anybody says about you personally, because you can be sure that they would not be brave enough to do what you're doing right now.
Or maybe you will inspire somebody. You will reach somebody. Somebody is sitting there right now on the fence, and they're listening to this story, and they're thinking, you know what? I don't want to be there. I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to be in this negative space anymore. I want to turn my life around like the way you did.
Do you think that you would have did you ever say tweet either of us or try and message or reach out or anything and like not get a response, and then that was kind of not the reason why you turned, but like do you think that you got did you ever think that you would get more I don't want to say attention because you're not a child,
interaction.
But interaction. Did you think that you would get more interaction almost if you went the negative way rather than the positive way?
I definitely think that there were people who very strongly felt that. They'd even say things like, I hope that they read this, blah, blah, blah. For me, I always got a fair amount of interaction from you guys. Like over the years, like it was never a problem, even when I was being a bitch. Like, not with you, obviously, Annie, you deleted. I had to like be like, can you please unblock me now? Because I'm not a bitch.
Oh, yeah,
anymore.
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah. When I did that, like I posted an apology.
Yeah.
And again, that was just because I realised it was one of the steps that I felt I needed to take, in apologising to people in my life. And you guys were one of those people. And so I never felt like I wasn't getting enough attention personally, but I've absolutely seen a lot of people just basically really and being like, I said this yesterday and then they did this today, so I know they're reading and they're listening to what I say, and it's almost like they're so happy.
Yeah.
Like I see, as a former troll, it would be so hard for me not to just fuck with people, and that's what I admire, that you guys just kept going. Whether people were saying bad things or not, if they were saying, oh, they don't do this correct or blah, 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 you didn't ever appear anyway to try and change yourselves because of the negative reactions. You just kept going and, eventually gained, more and more fans and haters,
Yeah.
I don't think you ever had more haters than fans, but, they definitely outweigh the voices now. And I think maybe people are starting to get the idea that it's just not really working and they should do something else. I hope. I don't know. I haven't been in your comment section in a while.
There's a lot of coincidences like that where a person would say like, oh, why didn't they do this? And then they would see an episode where we would do this, but it's because we are growing and evolving all the time, and we just figured out, because we have always, with our videos, have always shared our mistakes. We've shown ourselves doing something, and even if it felt right at the time, that's how you learn. But we just felt like sharing our learning curve in our videos. And I know so many creators wouldn't do that. They would only share the finished article or they'd refilm things, and we were always like, no. I want our thing to be a real diary, like just a real look back at what real life is like, and not some sort of manufactured thing. But by doing that, we probably created all of these problems for ourselves. Had we been manufactured and fake and did fake pranks on each other all the time, or did fake stupid things all the time, that the algorithm would have favored us more and people wouldn't have told us as much.
Yeah. Have you ever experienced trolling yourself, especially now as a reformed troll? I hate even calling you a troll because it's not a very nice word, but you know what I mean? No,
it's the most accurate word for this situation. I don't know if it was karma, but I did end up getting doxxed a few years ago on Facebook, which was unfortunate, but
getting what?
Luckily I was moving. Doxed, my address, my phone number, all of that released.
Wow.
And that was a mean girl situation where I was you, I guess.
Yeah.
So in a way it was very I called my ex-husband and was like, help, called the police and told them what was happening, and then just sort of sat with it and went, well, fucking this is what you get.
Yeah. Could you imagine then if they come out and they say, well, you doxed yourself. You doxed yourself. Imagine that's what they start saying. Like when you said about the card, they said, I sent it to myself. And I was like, what? Why would I do that?
Yeah. So after you've already been through an upsetting experience to then have to be accused by so many strangers. Yeah, I can completely understand how, like I said, I've sat with so many of these feelings, and I do, from the bottom of my heart, apologize fucking hard and up. It's just, it's so unfair, some of the things that you guys have gone through, sometimes directly because of people trolling you, and then you've had to deal with extra trolling on top of that. It's a very never-ending sort of cycle where then if you react in any way to people trolling you, they're going to troll you harder and be like, oh, they reacted, or they feel upset, or they've addressed the situation, we got to them, guys. It's just, to what end?
I don't think you should have to feel bad or take on everything, because it's definitely not just one person. It is a snowball effect, and I don't think it's fair for you to have to bear the brunt of. I'm not angry at you, for sure. I don't feel any
angry at me. I think that's all right.
Pardon?
I said I'm a bit angry at me. I think that's what I'm trying to, because you're obviously a very empathetic person, and you're like, oh, she's crying. I'm just a sook. Like, I do think it's important. I wasn't responsible for everything, but these reactions are just how I feel in response to the things that I did do.
Yeah, I
Because
always
ultimately any participation is participation, you know?
Yeah, like that's how I always feel about people who write negative things on the internet. I feel sorry for them. I've always over the years, I'm like, I feel sorry for everybody in those forums, because there's some people who have been building their profiles on these forums while I've been building my YouTube channel. You know, and I've been building a positive thing, and I'm always saying, if you have like some of those trolls, they should be detectives. They are so good.
Oh yeah, some of them are really amazing at what they do.
The ability to put that much time and energy into something and commit so far beyond the level of commitment. And I'm like, if you could apply that level into your own life, into a positive project, you could achieve anything. Because if someone like me, who had no hope in school, totally failed school, like of so many problems, but yet I was able to excel myself for 10 years committed to YouTube by building something. I'm like, if I can do that, anybody can do anything.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, we're not special.
Yeah.
We're just, you
So
know.
so we're not angry at you. I
No, not
feel
at all.
that your punishment is you have to live with that for all those years, and you had to overcome everything. And I feel like you have, and you seem like a really good person now. And that, you know what I mean? So I've nothing against you. I'm really thankful, and I hope that by coming on here and being able to talk directly to us and have this dialogue, that you're going to walk away from this feeling some sort of relief, some sort of like you've shed that and you don't need to carry it around anymore.
Yeah. Like, do you feel better? I mean, I know you're crying. I feel so bad that you're crying, but like,
I wish I could stop, but that's
everybody is flawed, right? We're all make mistakes. We're all bloody human, you know what I mean? Even I'm 10 years older than you, and I can tell you, I only recently got my shit together. So don't be stressing about being 30. When I was 30, I hadn't even joined YouTube. I was still just, you know what I mean, a flake, right? Did we even get married at 30? No, I wasn't even married yet.
I mean, I was 23, but yeah, you were like, I don't know how old
Yeah.
you were.
You know, so like there's no pressure or feeling to achieve anything, but it's all about growing and learning and changing, and, you know, make mistakes, because making mistakes is what makes you a better person. You know, if you never made those mistakes. And that's why I like that we documented those 10 years and all the mistakes that happened. You know, we didn't broadcast all of them, but I can look at them and I know what they mean. And I can say, that is why I am who I am today. You know, and that is why you are who you are today. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Like, do you feel better though, like in any way, or do you feel like relieved at all?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think it's like, I really, you know, relish this opportunity. I think it's great that you guys, you know, were willing to talk. Again, I just hope that at least one person just goes, you know what, I could do with a life reevaluation right about now. I think, you know, it's like what you were saying, John, it takes a long time to get your shit together. I know I'm not going to have my shit together for a lot longer. And that's okay. That's one of the reasons I liked having children at, you know, 21, so young, is because I'm sort of growing up with them and learning so much with them. And like, my daughters are just my world. And I wanted to be, I guess, a better example for them as well. You know, I wouldn't want them to, and if, you know, I'm willing to sit down and say, especially because they have their own devices now, I think it's very important to talk about online bullying, and, you know, they play Roblox and Minecraft and they can chat in those. And it's very important already, like kids, 7-year-olds are, you know, trolling each other in the chat. And I don't want my children to think that's acceptable, because it's not. It may happen to them. And I think it, as horrible as that is, that's life. But I don't want them to ever be the ones doing it. You know, I'd rather them come to me and we can deal with some online bullying together rather than learn that they're doing it. That would make me feel I'd feel like a failure. Yeah.
Well, I think the fact that you're talking about it openly and standing up to it is, you know, I think that's evidence enough that, you know, they have a better role model than, you know, you because you didn't have, you know, I'm not trying to speak for you, but like, as in, you didn't have somebody that was, you know, looking after you that had that experience, basically, is what I'm trying to say. I mean, none of us did, because the internet just wasn't even around for our parents back then. But it's so great that you do have, I think we're better educated about it. I think, you know, internet trolling was a fairly new thing, especially like 10 years ago. And yeah, we're all learning, like what Jonathan said, and everybody does make mistakes. And I think everybody should be allowed to make mistakes and, you know, apologize for them if they need to. But I think it's really big of people that do. I think that's, you know, it's really admirable, I said.
I think definitely everyone makes mistakes, but what really counts is accountability. And sometimes that's just going to be personal accountability within yourself. So you can sort of go, here are the choices I made, they weren't good. And then sometimes the accountability goes as far as, you know, talking to the people that you've hurt and apologising for that. I think that depends on what people feel they can do.
Yeah.
But I do think it's important. Everyone makes mistakes, but it's not excusable to make mistakes if you're never going to hold yourself accountable.
Yeah.
If you could speak directly to people who are actively trolling right now, not on us, not on any creator, you know, like just a quick, what would you say to them?
I would say there's more to life. Life is beautiful, and it's full. And if you're hurting and you feel that it's helping you by hurting other people, it's not. You need to get out into life to enjoy it, and there's so much more to live for than just hating on someone. My earpod fell out and got stuck in my hoop.
That was really nice. I thought that was like an amazing like parting statement and really heartfelt as well.
But why would you not consider that you feel so strongly about this and about having children now yourself at a more vulnerable age on the internet why don't you start online videos or a blog or something? You know what I mean? You know, you have the knowledge and experience of knowing how to troll, and that gives you an amazing insight of how to combat it, how to help combat it. You know, with my children, when I see them interacting with devices and apps, after 11 years as a video creator online, I'm very aware of what they're doing and who they're talking to because I have that insight. Yep. You know, so maybe with that insight and that drive that you have, and maybe there's something you could do there.
Look, I've definitely thought about it. I just personally, I've always been, when I was at film school, I was hoping to be a producer. I'm very much I'm happy to set up the lighting and set everything up and, you know, write a running sheet and do all of that. But I don't think I'm a very likable person.
But that's what I said. You know, when I started Sicconi Joly's, or La Flip TV as it was, I had graduated from film and I wanted to work in animation and film, but I had no one to film. So I filmed myself, and then eventually I convinced my girlfriend to be in my videos, and then I filmed Anna, and then it went from there, and then I became the talent of the show that I just wanted to produce, you know? So
I really liked your earlier videos, those little, like, you know, short form ones where the one where you did the stop motion going through your day, that was sick. I liked that.
Thank you. Maybe I went there. Where did I go wrong?
It's sad they're all privated now.
They are. Yeah. I still have them all though.
Bring them back. They're fucking good.
Well, the problem is I'd spend so much time and effort creating these pieces of art, and then no one would care about them, and then I'd film myself eating breakfast, and everyone would be like, "That was amazing." Yeah, I was like, right.
Oh, there's a thumbnail for you.
Yeah.
No, it is crazy because, like I said, I went back. I am also interested in film, and all of that sort of stuff was just really cool to me. And it was, I have always thought maybe I should do something like that.
But I only started at the age you're at now. I only set up a YouTube channel. You know, there's no reason why you can't go out there.
So you're making me sort of realize I've sort of gotten to the stage where I'm like, look, I'll just see my children through school, maybe have another one if I can, and it's over for me. Like, I know I'm only 30, but I sort of started to feel like I should just be a mum and forget about things. So that's really nice of you to say.
No,
you've
I
got
don't.
Way more.
Yeah.
You've got energy. The trick about people with ADD is that we have a superpower that normal people don't have. You know what I mean? And you have the ability to excel yourself far beyond normal. How did I film my life every day for 10 years? That's not a normal thing to do. You know, and you have energy. You are likable. You're very charismatic. And I think that you just don't be afraid. Go out there and take the thing that you probably were envious that we had all those years ago, and take it for yourself. There's no reason why you can't.
100%. Especially now, because I feel like probably a weight's been lifted off you, like maybe before, like you couldn't, like you were like stuck. I know what that feels like when you're like, I felt like that was my eating disorder. Like I was stuck until I acknowledged it and ended it and really could move forward. And I feel like that's, you know, you're free now to do whatever. I mean, you always were, but you know, I feel like you probably mentally feel like you're freer. And I think you could do anything you put your mind to. I definitely don't think that you're not likable. I think you're a very likable person. Like you keep saying that, and you're very, like Jonathan said, charismatic and beautiful too. So I think you could do anything you put your mind to. I think this was really therapeutic for everybody. I'm really.
And I think it's important that people, and especially your fan base, not your fan base, your hater base in particular, sees it, because how much damage can you do to people before it's enough? I mean, I don't understand if people are that passionate about child abuse or any of those things. There are so many, firstly, there's so many causes to champion and to go and put your energy into, but there's also so many other families on YouTube who do the exact same thing as you guys. And there's so many families on YouTube who are so much worse than you guys, like so much worse than you guys. Why aren't they over there having an issue with that? Like for me, when people are like, I care about the children's welfare, it's like, no, you fucking don't. You care about fucking someone's life up. And feeling important. It's not about, because if you cared about child welfare, you'd put all that time into volunteering for a women's shelter or at 100%. A local primary school. You wouldn't be like hating on people online that you've never met.
Yeah.
And so that's where for me it was like, people want to claim, you know, this lip service of like, I'm doing it for this good reason or this good reason. And there's no good reason. It's all bad reasons in here.
No, I think that's really important to even just to say that and point it out, because I think some people are so caught up in it that they won't even want to believe that. I think it takes, you know, you have to, obviously it's like eating disorder recovery or any kind of, you know, recovering from any kind of addiction. They have to be ready to do it themselves and ready to see it for themselves. But sometimes it just takes the right information or the right, like something like is said to them to make it really click. But ultimately they're not going to get any better unless they choose that for themselves. But hopefully this will help. And I think it will.
I hope it does.
Yeah.
I hope it makes some sort of difference.
I think it definitely will. Well, thank you so much for doing this. Like, I honestly can't thank you enough. I think it's so brave of you, and I feel like I keep repeating myself, but that's genuinely how I feel. I feel like, you know, not a lot of people would have opted to do this. So, I can't thank you enough. I think it's given us incredible insight, and I genuinely really, I think we could be friends. Like, I know we joked about we weren't going to be best friends, but I genuinely think we could be. Like, and I've actually thought that from the beginning. Like, I just, even when you hated me, I still, part of me liked you. And I didn't even know you.
Like, same. Do you watch Ethan and Trisha? It's like frenemies.
Yes.
Yeah. That's where we're at now. I can't be a friendless friend anymore, but maybe I can be a frenemy friend.
Frenemy friends.
Yeah.
And if you ever come to Australia, I will like you said, I would absolutely go to a meetup. I think that when COVID's over, that would be like such a cool family trip for you guys. It's somewhere you haven't been.
Yeah.
You have like quite a big following in Australia. Like, that's so many girls I know follow Anna just for like the fashion thing. They don't even know about the vlogs. Wow. Like, people just follow you a lot in Australia. So, all right. Well, I hope you guys have a great day.
Yeah.
I'm going to go put my children to bed now.
Yeah. Sorry it got so late, but yeah, thank you so much.
No, it's fun.
Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed that. I think that was really insightful, though. You know, I think it was so interesting to like when she said that about that thing about the AdSense. I was like,
I forgot for a second.
I've never forgotten that.
I know.
You know, and I'm like, oh my goodness.
I forgot for a second what she was saying, like what she was talking about. And then when you started talking, I did remember, because that only hit like that. Yeah, I know.
That's insane, you know, but mad to I think it was so interesting to like, you know, the Wizard of Oz, you know, behind the monster was the person, you know, the big scary monster, you know, the big scary troll is just a person. You know what I mean? It's just a person. And
she went through so much. Like, I knew she had gone through a lot, but I didn't realize like the extent of it. And I'm sure it's more than what she even said. But
yeah. But yeah. I hope that is what we've achieved. You know, I'm hoping that people are gonna watch this and listen to her story and listen to our story, and then just kind of like maybe stop trolling if you're trolling.
Yeah,
or
I just
maybe-
think we're so lucky to have had that insight though, because like I said, not
But
a
it
lot
took
of people
10
would
years.
yeah, but not a lot of people would do that.
I hope you enjoyed that insight as much as we did. And yeah, as always, guys, leave your opinions in the comments below. And I'm so interested to hear what you guys think and what your opinion is of Lily, of us, of just overall what the trolling is about. And maybe share this video out with other people on the internet. Maybe we can do some good. Maybe Lily's message can do some good out there, and maybe stop some trolling and, you know, stop hurting people.
Yeah.
You know, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye.